let's talk about the under the leg down and why it's not completely crazy to think that this will work for a standard obedience down. I've got right here, he has been doing this for a few days. He's got a treat stuck in his mouth right now. Come here. But I'm going to try to show you the steps from beginning to end if it goes well. So to start, because I have a little dog, I'm sitting on the ground. If you have a slightly taller dog, you could sit on a cushion, on a cot, or even in a chair to make this work. So to begin, I'm going to prop my leg at about his height. I'm not quite that tall, but as close to his height as I can get so that it's easy for him to climb underneath my leg. And I'm simply going to lure through. I'm not asking him to stop. I'm not even asking him to lay all the way down at this point. Just luring so that he crawls under my leg. Yeah, good boy. And gets comfortable with that little bit of pressure that he's putting on his shoulders as he does it. The reason this works really well is instead of me applying pressure to his shoulders, which might make a dog resist and push back and maybe even make him feel uncomfortable, the leg is like a bridge. It's a static bit of pressure. The dog is learning to apply that pressure to themselves. So it's a little more acceptable for nervous dogs or dogs who might be resistant to pressure. So let's do that one more time. I'm going to sprinkle food. There's no particular, routine here. It's just whatever it takes to get my dog to crawl underneath my leg and put a little pressure on their shoulders. Now, I'm going to drop my leg down a little bit so that it's maybe closer to his shoulder height or even a little bit lower. I'm looking for, you might have to hit your belly to the ground in order to get the food that's under my leg now. I'm going to sprinkle out that food. And remember, food on the floor feels a little bit more available. So if you're trying to lure it to your hand and the dog is resisting, try just setting it down on the floor. Okay, I lowered my leg just a little bit more because he didn't quite have to go belly to the ground to make that happen. I ran out of food, there you go. And if he pops back out the other side, that's completely fine too. Good boy. Let's try again. That's a little more what I'm talking about. So that's like a full down position. Free. Maybe a little bit of planking on the front. Let's go again. And there we go. We got it pretty rested down. I'm going to reward him a couple of times here. Free. And then encourage him to come out. So what I'm looking for is that the dog can eventually crawl into that position under my leg and hopefully hang out for a second or two for an extra reward from my hand. And then I'm going to release, free, just by throwing a treat so I don't have to get up every single time. Let's go again. I could even start to say down, kind of hold out for the position that I'm looking for, and yes, and reward, free, before I release. So now I'm getting somewhere with him and his down. He's going into the full position. He's not squeezing out right away. He's kind of staying put underneath my leg, accepting rewards from my hand instead of just on the floor. So I'm really happy with where we've just gotten. What I'm going to try to do now is a little more complicated, and I would say this is the awkward stage of this. I'm going to chuck out a treat to one side, place my arm about the same height as my leg was previously, and see if I can lure him under my arm. Now he resisted that time, that's okay, we're just going to try again. Can we go a little further for that? Put it on the ground, yes. Free. Keep it. We're going to run out of food, come on. He resisted that pressure that time, that's okay. I just back off, let him think for a second, and we'll try it again. I'm gonna put him on the ground again to make them feel very available. Yes. Free. Good boy. Come over here. Down. Yes. Free. He does not know the down command yet. I'm just trying to throw it at the time when he's about to fall his butt onto the ground. Yes. And I missed saying it that time. That's okay. Free. More focused on him and that he's comfortable and that he's doing this. He's staying there. Get it. The reason that we do this, well, one, smaller dogs can be built a little bit different and can be harder to manipulate. Some people feel funny about putting pressure on them. Free. Because their bodies are tinier and we think of them as more fragile, and that's okay. I would rather be safe than, cause an injury to my dog. But mostly with Ray here, it's because he doesn't take well to pressure. Like he needs things to be his idea. Down. Yes. Free. Oh, crumb stuck to my hand. Good boy. Get that? He's out thinking me now. Down. I'm gonna hold out for a second with that food until the butt drops. Yes. Free. Good boy. Let's see if we can transition to our hand now. This would be my last stage before I started standing up and having the dog do this. So I'm gonna lay my hand out at about that same level. Down. This is where we're gonna get resistance, I think. That's okay. He stole that treat. That's also okay. Try not to set too many rules for yourself. We're just trying to encourage the dog. Down. Now I'm holding out on the rest of the treats until that butt lays down. So if you just missed out on him, that's okay. Giving him one there. Down. Yes. Good boy. Free. Good dude. I think we got enough treats for one more. There's crumbs everywhere. Down. Got a little left in my hand that I'm blocking. See if the butt goes down. Yes. Good boy. Jackpot. So that is how I usually take, several days to do this, but that's how I generally transition from luring a dog down under my leg to having them lay down under the pressure of my hand. And in his next session, I would probably start here and then move to me standing up and luring him under my hand. It's a long game, but if you're not getting the down any other way, it's kind of a last-ditch effort, and it does work for a lot of dogs.